We are Anchor, Tufts Christian Acapella. We are excited to be part of this amazing event, and we hope you enjoy.
Hello, my friend. I remember when you were so alive with your wide eyes and the light that you had when your heart was stolen. Now you say that it ain't worth saying. You wanna run, but you're hesitating. I'm talking to me. Don't let your lights go down. Don't let your fire burn out. Somewhere somebody needs a reason to believe. Why don't you rise up now? Don't be afraid to stand out. That's how the lost get found. The lost get found. So when you get the chance, are you gonna take it? There's a really big world at your fingertips, and you know you got the chance to change it. There's a girl on the street, she's crying. There's a man whose faith is dying. Love is calling you. Don't let your lights go down. Don't let your fire burn out. Somewhere somebody needs a reason to believe. Why don't you rise up now? Don't be afraid to stand out. That's how the lost get found. The lost get found. Why do we go with the flow? We're taking anything around. Why are we playing it safe? Nothing can show us the way. She loves is the chance we should take and move it out of the way.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. I need a blessing. Pray for me, maybe. You see, all my past mistakes, they try to chase me. I need a blessing. Pray for me, maybe.
Don't let the lights go down. Don't let the fire burn out. Somewhere somebody needs a reason to believe. So stand up. Don't let your fire burn out. Why don't you rise up now? Don't be afraid to stand out. That's how the lost get found. So when you get the chance, are you gonna take it? There's a really big world at your fingertips, and you know you have a chance to change it. Double up.
Thank you.
Every day is so wonderful, then suddenly it's hard to breathe.
Now and
Then I get insecure from all the pain. I'm so ashamed. I am beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring me down. I am beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring me down. Oh no. So don't you bring me down today.
To all your friends, you're delirious, so consumed in all your doom. Trying hard to fill the emptiness. The peace is gone, the puzzle's undone.
That's the way it is.
You are beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring you down. Oh, no, no. You are beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring you down. So don't you bring me down today.
No matter what we do.
No matter what we do.
No matter what they say.
No matter what we
We're
say.
the song inside the tune. Full of beautiful mistakes. And everywhere we go.
And everywhere we go.
The sun won't always shine.
The sun will always shine.
Tomorrow might wake up on the other side.
We are beautiful, no matter what they say.
Words can't bring us down.
Oh, no, no. We are beautiful in every single way.
Words can't bring us down.
So
Don't you bring me down today. My name is Maya Grodman. I am a senior. I am pansexual. I'm a co-leader of Bisexual Pansexual Students Group, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I am Howard Solomon. I came to Tufts as an assistant professor in 1971, retired in 2004, and for many of those years taught queer history to a lot of very queer, wonderful students who are in this room. And I am the LGBT Center, the Tufts LGBT Center.
I am Renee Vallejo. I'm a peer educator and activist. I'm a freshman here at Tufts. I am a beautiful gay woman, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I am Max Tanguay Colucci. I am president of the Tufts Queer Straight Alliance. I am an intern at the LGBT Center, and I'm an aspiring architect, and I am the LGBT Center.
My name is Grania Griffiths. I am a queer feminist, and I have represented the Tufts LGBT community on the Tufts Senate for my first 2 years here, and I still work to empower students to make sure they are represented in our policies as a university, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I'm Stephen Pennington, and I'm a professor in the music department, and I just want to say that I value radical politics, and I honor those that bear the brunt of the struggle, the young, the poor, the of color, the drag queens, the lesbian feminist separatists, the genderqueer, and all of those who cannot or will not assimilate. And I am the Tufts LGBTQIAQ Center.
I am Tom Borden. I am the husband to my wonderful partner of the past 15 years. I am a proud dad of 2 beautiful children. I'm the director of the LGBT Center. I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
My name is Arlene Isaacson. I graduated from Jackson in and I'm the volunteer co-chair of the Massachusetts Gay and Lesbian Political Caucus, and as such was able to lead the lobbying effort on gay and lesbian civil rights, hate crimes, HIV, AIDS-related issues, foster care, marriage equality, anti-bullying, and a variety of other issues in Massachusetts. And I am the LGBT Tufts Center.
Hi, my name is Barton Liang. I'm an international student. I'm an aspiring civil engineer. I'm a peer educator, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I'm Emily Mears. I'm the staff assistant for the LGBT Center. I'm a proud lesbian and a proud fiance to Rachel Trudeau. And I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
Hi, I'm Mary Davis. I'm a proud lesbian. I'm also a professor here at Tufts in the Department of Urban and Environmental Policy and Planning. And I'm a proud single mom, 3 wonderful children. I am the LGBT Center.
I am Chris Polk. I am the graduate assistant for the LGBT Center. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am an ally to the LGBT community. I am Tufts LGBT Center.
I'm Justin Silva. I'm a freshman, an ally, and a Team Q member, and I am the Tufts University LGBT Center.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Tobias Wilson. I identify as Black, queer, radical, a first-generation college student. I'm a published author at Harvard Law and Critical Race Theory, as well as GLAAD, and I am indeed Tufts LGBT Center.
Hello, I'm Jen Eliason. I'm a former staff member at the LGBT Center. I'm an anti-racist educator, and I'm a proud ally, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I'm James Mulder. I'm a gay HAPA graduate student, second-generation American, and I am the Tufts LGBT Center.
I'm Jonathan Strong from the English department, and my partner Scott and I are married legally in 9 states and counting. And we are the Tufts LGBT Center.
Everybody.
We are beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring us down. Oh, no. We are beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring us down. So don't you bring me down today. So don't you bring me down today.
Welcome, everyone. My name is John Barker. I'm the Dean of Undergraduate and Graduate Students at Tufts University. Only been here for about a year and a half, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight in the 20th celebration of the LGBT Center. I want to say that it's a testament to what's going on tonight, to the people who are inside this room and the people who are outside this room, and the long storied history that this organization has had at Tufts University. Tom wrote some notes down for me and wanted me to share one important point. Tufts is consistently, I wouldn't know this without you, so thank you. Tufts is consistently recognized as one of the friendliest communities to the LGBT community around the country. And that's a testament to Tom's hard work and effort over the last few years. So let's give him a round of applause. So if I didn't say it, on behalf of the university and the Tufts Diversity Fund, welcome tonight. It's a great evening. We want to thank everyone for showing up and have a wonderful time and a wonderful celebration. Thank you very much. All right, good evening. Are you all excited to be here tonight? I've got to say, we started out with an alumni reception at 5 p.m. and the room was packed. And I heard so many incredible stories and statements and people who haven't been back here for decades who said this is such a reunion for them and they're so excited to be here. And it just makes me so excited also. And I just want to thank John Barker and say, yes, we are consistently recognized as one of the most LGBT-friendly campuses in the country. I take absolutely no credit for that because it is thousands upon thousands of people who are all part of that year after year. LGBT people, allies, and thank you to all of you for making this such a great campus. So I'm so excited to be here tonight. I'm going to be even more excited tomorrow morning when my anxiety level goes down a few notches. After about a year of planning this event. And I've got to say, I think most of you missed it. I learned, I should have announced it, that one of our interns put together this incredible video of the past 20 years. So what we'll, and I don't think people realize that's what it was, so we'll replay it at the end of the program. But thank you to Jay Dodd for the video, and we will watch it again. So my name is Tom Borden. I am the current director of the Tufts Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, or LGBT Resource Center at Tufts University. And when I say that I'm glad to be here with you all, I'm talking about a room that is filled to fire code capacity. We sold this event out, which is really exciting, of current, past, and potentially even future members of the Tufts community, students and alum, faculty and staff, their partners, some of their children, maybe some of your exes are in the room. I apologize to you for that. I'm talking about lesbian, gay, bisexual, pansexual, queer, straight, asexual, questioning, transgender, intersex, cisgender, gender conforming, gender non-conforming, beautiful people who are all part of the Tufts community and family. It is so wonderful to be here with you. And I want to start by thanking all of the people that made this event possible. First of all, can we give a round of applause to Anchored for opening this up for us? They did a great job. So many people have come from far away to be part of this event or just to celebrate with us. Thank you to all of you. Thanks to our co-sponsors, including the Diversity Fund, Health and Wellness, Tisch College, the Dean of Undergraduate and Graduate Students Office, the Intercultural and Social Identities Program Office, and Alumni Relations. They helped put the bill, for which I'm so grateful, but they also didn't have to deal with my, I don't want to use the term bridezilla. I don't know if I should say groomzilla. I don't know. I kind of sometimes get a little micromanaging when it comes to events. I need to thank my staff so much for dealing with me for the past year, and the Office of Campus Life. And my staff includes Chris Polk, James Mulder, Max Tanguay Colucci, Katie Haggerty, Jay Dodd, who created the video, and my LGBT Center partner in crime, Emily Mears, who is hobbling around. Emily had surgery a few days ago and was in the office. She had her knee operated on and was in the office a few days later because she was so committed to this event and she's so committed to the work, as am I. We're so lucky to get to do what we do. So considering that Tufts was an all-male school for a good 4 decades before it went co-ed, it's probably safe to assume that queer history did not begin 20 years ago here. And I don't mean to make assumptions, but if any of you have ever heard the lyrics to the school fight song, who knows the fight song? Anyone? Up on the hill tonight, all will be gay. That's right. And I would love to share more phrases from the fight song to show you just how queer it is, but you would actually think I was making it up because it's that good, so go Google it later. Tonight we're going to take you on a walk down the lavender memory lane of the past few decades, and in addition we hope to titillate your senses with some great performances. We have some exciting Tufts news, which you will be the first to hear about tonight, and it is extremely exciting. So please sit back or do whatever the standing up version of that is. Enjoy and participate as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I realize that this is supposed to be celebratory, but I'm going to have to start in a mode that is not. At the end, it will be different, though. I graduated from college in the late 1950s, and I don't remember thinking of any of my classmates as gay. The terminology then was different. It was an assumption that everyone we knew was heterosexual, so much so that only the bravest would have risked revealing that he or she was not. I want to tell you about 2 encounters, one that made me less ignorant, and another that helped me see the need for an LGBT center, what is now LGBT Center, at Tufts. The first incident occurred at my 25th class reunion. I was happy to see Gary, a classmate
with whom I had played bridge and had a few casual dates. We exchanged the obligatory information about work and family, with me saying, "Yes, I'm married. Are you?" My response to his "no" was an offhanded, "Don't worry, you'll meet someone." My husband was 41 when we married. There was an awkward pause, and Gary changed the subject. I have recalled that pause and change of topic many times with embarrassment and shame, because a few years later, a notice of Gary's death from AIDS appeared in the alumni notes. And each time, it seemed to me that had I not responded so conventionally, he might have been prepared to tell me he was gay. But instead, he felt he couldn't risk it. What's more, I felt that as a black person, I should have kept in mind that what one presents to the world is not all there is to see. The second incident occurred a few years after I became Dean of Students. A senior student I had gotten to know because she was active in a number of student organizations came into my office, shut the door, and burst into tears. When she could, she explained that she had just become involved in a new relationship. But unlike the others, this one was with a woman. "Does that mean I'm a lesbian?" she asked in anguish. We talked for a while then, and she returned to my office a number of times before she graduated. We remained in touch, and sometime after her graduation, she invited me to a private commitment ceremony with the woman who has been her partner for more than 20 years. What these incidents made me aware of was the isolation of students, particularly in those times, but clearly even today, who are dealing with issues regarding sexual identity. How enormous was the risk they took, that whenever they chose to confide in someone, that person would not violate their confidentiality, would remain a friend and confidant, would not judge. Where on campus could those who were dealing with similar issues meet, share experiences, provide support for one another, and just relax together at those times when a break was sorely needed? Tufts had already recognized that the college experience, often described by parents as the best 4 years of your life, and heaven help you if they were, also brought some special challenges for those who were dealing with the ways in which they were different from other students. So in addition to the African American Center, the International Center, the Women's Center, and the Hispanic American Center, and the Asian American Center, it became clear that to serve its gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender students, Tufts needed an LGBT center. The centers were established to offer support for different populations because Tufts values the diversity of our student body. But there are times when it is clear that diversity is not a universally shared value. And the LGBT Center, like other centers on campus, serves as both a refuge and a place from which to assert equal ownership of the campus. But also, like other centers, the LGBT Center has become a part of the educational experience of all Tufts students. Its programming is open to the campus, and its members lead and participate in a wide range of campus activities and groups. In short, all Tufts students, gay and straight, are better prepared both to appreciate the benefits and deal with the difficulties that accompany diversity here on campus and later in life after Tufts because of the existence of the LGBT Center. It is a pleasure to celebrate this occasion with you.
My name is John Orcutt.
I came to Tufts in 1985 because Lisa Birnbach's big college book told me there was an active gay community. That first TLGC meeting with about 6 or 7 people, Michael, Andrea, William, Tim, Pam, and 1 or 2 others, possibly including Tracy Chapman 2 years before she hit MTV, saved my life. Soon I was skipping Spanish class to protest government recruiting on campus because they would not hire gays. I thought people were paranoid when they told me to wear a bandana over my face until I witnessed someone jump out of a car and take non-digital photos of us and speed away. That career center was the Bowles House, which is now the LGBT Center. And these days, there are more gays in government offices than gay bars. I remember driving in more than one Chevette down Mass Avenue to Campus Man Ray for cool people, or Avalon for beautiful people, or 1270 for locals, or Club Cafe for snots. I was at Avalon the Sunday after Barney Frank came out publicly, when he appeared in a colorful scoop tank. I stood there reeking of Paul Mitchell coconut shampoo and Polo cologne in my Gerbo jeans and white puffy high-top Reeboks, my Tonserton half shirt, and gray corduroy Varney cap, and I openly judged that man. We went to parties at the Arts, International, and Crafts Houses. We ate at the pub, never Carmichael. We took as many classes as possible from Lee Edelman, Janice Irvine, and Howard Solomon. We were guest speakers at the psych class every year. We went to dances at Brandeis because who can refuse the romantic pull of your first gay dance inside a castle? But warned each other not to date the serial bisexuals there, or the egotists at Harvard, or the students at Northeastern, largely due to their confusing trimester schedule. I'm proud of a lot I did at Tufts, but increasing our $400 budget definitely wins hands down. My plan was simple: ask for what we needed and triple it, since I knew it would get slashed in half. After several denials and appeals and a lot of shame aimed at the Student Senate for shortchanging the gay community for years, we got $14,000 of the $21,000 requested. $11,000 was earmarked for a part-time LGBT director position later assumed by Donna Penn. When we needed more space, we invited Bobby Nabel to attend one of our meetings. Every single queer person on campus was strong-armed, wheedled, begged, and bribed to attend. Bobby, to her credit, appeared and listened intently to our grievances, and we soon received a second room that became our drop-in center and posted hours for one-on-one talks, the 1987 version of chat rooms. We also had a phone, that's a landline, because in those days you had to sit beside it and you couldn't take it with you. We reached out to queer alums. We spoke to seniors and recent grads, and we asked them to list every gay they could remember. We actually cold called people, and we sent them unsolicited letters asking them to join our new Queer Alum Alliance. Somehow we grew a list of over 200 people dating back to the 60s without the help of email or internet searches, as neither had been invented yet. I believe this mailing list became foundational in forming Pride on the Hill. We had a lot of house parties. We gathered around the TV to watch Ellen Wong and her mother Alice, the most righteous P-flag mom ever, chat with Geraldo Rivera in a very dramatic episode called Teenage Lesbianism. When we got tested for HIV, we had to wait 6 to 8 weeks, not 10 minutes for results. I smoked Virginia Slim Deluxe Ultralights as a non-gender conforming revolutionary statement. Jure gave us facials over pots of boiling water and applied lotions to our faces in upward circular motions. When we realized that the Tufts gay community had been formed in 1972 and it was 1988, we threw a Sweet 16 coming out party. We went to marches in Boston and New York and Washington for gay rights and women's rights and abortion rights. We took mushrooms and pretended we were in Calvin Klein obsession ads. When really, we were just posing awkwardly by subway vents, pretending they were runway fans. Sorry.
We're talking about mushrooms.
This is it. Sorry, Dean of Students. Would it have made our lives easier if we had the internet? Hells yes. Do you know how hard it was to learn the Dewey Decimal System, find the abnormal psych section of the library, and smuggle out books to be read in privacy without being noticed? It was Wikipedia with none of the convenience and all of the misinformation. If we had had tiny little phones in our pockets that gave us pictures of nearby willing men, we would not have spent countless hours at the Fens, the Bird Sanctuary, the Harvard Science Center, or Copley Center. Sorry, it's worse than the mushrooms, I know. A few weeks ago, I accepted a LinkedIn invitation from someone who went to Tufts. She told me that she's straight, she works in human resources at a large bank, and is part of an LGBT group there. She contacted me to say she had always wanted to thank me for a letter that I wrote to the editor of the Tufts Daily 24 years ago. And now it's my turn. I want to thank all of the queer jumbos that came before me. I want to thank you for securing that crappy little room on the 3rd floor of the Hayes House. I want to thank you for inventing Blue Jeans Day. I want to thank you for creating a safe space for me to come out in. And I want to say thank you also to the students and the professors and the staff and the LGBT directors that came after me and my classmates. What you've accomplished here is absolutely moved me to tears in September when I came back from my first visit in 22 years. I did not want you to have to wait to be thanked for saving lives every day with what you do.
Good evening. Even though my name is Amy Riccadoni and I am class of 92, you have to pretend for the next 5 minutes that I'm Heather Wishick, who was the first director of the LGBT Center. This is her statement. She could not be here tonight. Hello, everyone. The context. The center existed in name, but had not had a functional fixed physical location. When I started as director, we created the center in 2 rooms on the ground floor of one of the dorms. I don't recall the name. They were bright windowed rooms. The first led into the second. We created a lending library of LGB-related books and scrounged furniture for comfortable places to drop in and sit. We used the inner room as an office and place to talk confidentially. Work-study students and student volunteers helped staff the center since I was only half-time 9 months of the year. The center was closed summers. I remember the combination of terror, joy, and courage among LGB students. The terror. Most students didn't come out to anyone other than themselves until they got to college. Some parents, upon finding out, cut off financial support, so most students tried not to let their parents know until after graduation. Violence against LGBT students was frequent around the streets near campus and occasionally happened on campus. Freshman roommate issues could get bad when one person came out to a straight roommate. AIDS was still huge. First treatments like AZT were new. The virus was still a death threat. Joy. Students were finding at last a safe place to be out as gay or lesbian, or to explore their identity with each other at the center. Finding community with other LGBT students and discovering there were allies. Celebrating and creating LGBT culture through music, comedy, theater, and so on with Leah Delaria, The Flirtations, Dave Pallone, Robin Oakes, all of them came to campus. Courage. Students participated with me in workshops for residence life, for Greek life, for the athletic department, for the engineering school. LGBT students constantly took the risk to come out to each faculty member, to classmates, to resident hall staff, and so on. I remain proud of, although it may have originally been envisioned to serve only students, I was proud of helping the center to become a visible resource to the entire Tufts community, including faculty and staff at all of Tufts schools. I appreciated the support of the other center directors, Chaplain Scotty McClellan, and the Dean of Students, Bobby Nabel. My most moving memory. I asked the students who came to group at the center to tell their life after graduation stories. One sophomore said to me he had no life story because he'd never seen or met an old gay person. The next week I showed the movie Silent Pioneers, which put all of us into tears. Then that young man constructed and told a life story. Today he is living it. He is happily married to a man, living a full professional life in which he is comfortably out and is 40 years old. Thank you, and sorry I can't be with you in person, Heather Wishick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Anthony Myers. I'm from the class of 1993. I lived in the Arts House for 2 years. We threw leather and lingerie parties, and I was the president of Sarah Band and Tufts Black Theater Company. I come from the 90s, and so for me it's exciting to see so many generations of LGBT alum. I met people from class of 78 and people from the 80s, people who didn't know there was a campus center. And so for me it's really exciting to be in this community. It's a family. For me, there were visionaries of my years like Wally Panzing, Ellen Wong, Sharon Wexler, Amy Riccardoni, and then folks that came after me while I spent my time figuring out how I wanted to be an artist and all that other stuff. There were people actually lobbying and rallying like Jim Sheridan and Andy Salzer, who's not here tonight. I actually remember when the LGBT Center opened, and Heather Wishick was really working as a trooper to get students involved and active and rallied, and she had a really positive zest for the program. And I'm honored that I was here to even see that take place. I also was involved with bringing speakers like Essex Hemphill, who was legendary for Black gay movement. And I'm actually honored to be a writer in an anthology that's coming out this year that's promoting the 25th anniversary of In the Life, which was one of the seminal texts that celebrated Black gay experiences, and it was written for and by Black gay men. I didn't have those figures when I came here. I was in a predominantly white school, I'm going to say that. I was from the Bronx. I didn't have gay people around me in the Bronx. I didn't know what being gay was or becoming gay. I became gay, among other things, as an artist and all that other stuff. And it was traumatizing at first. I was outed in a weird circumstance, but that's another topic of conversation. But as I look forward, I realize that I have grown so much from being here at Tufts, and I married my partner in New York a month after legislation was passed for gay marriage in New York. And I just want to say, don't take for granted, those who are here now, don't take for granted your outness and your pride. And there were those who were hiding. There were those who were nervous in LGBT meetings about speaking up and being active. I was traumatized when I was coming out. Really understand that there's a long line of people, and I think the trajectory of gay experiences are so wide and varied. We have such a multitude of voices. So I'm just excited to be here. I want to stay connected with the LGBT Center here and with all of you. So enjoy your evening. Thank you so much.
Good evening. I'm Carl Shortino. I graduated in the class of 2000. And I have to tell you, the 4 years that I had here at Tufts were formative to me in thinking about what it means to be a part of a community and what it means to be an activist. I came out the summer before my senior year in high school, and I was not sure how out I wanted to be when I got to Tufts. But when I came here to campus, I knew it was the right thing to do, and I knew it was the right place to be when I saw all of the other students who had been out and proud and led the way. And one of the first places I showed up was the Tufts LGBT Center. And I found this book that was 20 years of Tufts daily articles about the activism of students that came before me within our community. And if you want to see that book, it's still actually in the library here at Tisch. But to read the stories of people like John Orcutt, who I'm so really amazed to see you here tonight. And I read for hours about your activism and your work here at Tufts. To see you doing so well is an honor for me, to be quite honest, because your work before me at Tufts gave me the courage as a young student who was frankly still terrified to be out. But the campus at Tufts and the work that came before me allowed me to find my own voice as an activist, as a part of this community. One of the first things I had the pleasure of doing as a young activist my first year was to sit with Dean Nabel. And Dean Nabel and I had a conversation with a few other students around about the Tufts LGBT Center, which at the time was the only center that had only a part-time director. Now, the part-time director was revolutionary a few years earlier, but in our time we were saying, why are we the only center with only a part-time director? And Dean Nabel and I had a conversation about this, and it was literally a few months later where she came back and said, okay, we're going forward, we'll have a full-time director now. So, Dean Nabel, it's an honor to have you here as well, to see you doing so well. And what the Tufts LGBT Center came to be for me was home base to be that activist that I wanted to be with all of my fellow troublemakers. And we did things like fight for the Rainbow House, which we created my junior year. We fought for co-ed housing, which took a few years longer. Congratulations to the current students that finally finished the job on co-ed housing. We did things like make sure that the TLGBC organization became TTLGBC, and added another letter because we didn't yet have any out transgender students, but we knew we had our closeted trans brothers and sisters in the room who weren't quite ready to say it. We made sure that we gave a voice to them as well and gave them the space to be safe and welcomed. Those kinds of things mean something on a campus like Tufts, which has such a wonderful reputation of equality and support and inclusiveness. But to see the progression of the Tufts gay community, to the Tufts lesbian and gay community, to the Tufts lesbian, gay, bisexual community, to the Tufts transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual community. This expansion of who we were as a community at Tufts mirrored what happened in the rest of society in such a profound way. My junior year at Tufts, at the coming out day rally just outside here, was the year that Matthew Shepard was killed. And I remember being there Matthew Shepard had just died that morning. And we were looking around at our fellow students and saying, we're in this safe place. We feel so lucky. And yet we feel so scared because it really could have been any one of us anywhere. So what it meant to have a community here at Tufts was we could find our voices as activists when we needed to fight and move forward, but we also had a community that protected us when we needed security and support. So when we hear the voices of the Tufts LGBT community over the years, it's not just about friends and parties and crafts house and arts house. It's all of that too, but it really is about how to be a voice for ourselves and for our equality and for our basic human dignity. And the Tufts LGBT Center gives us that space to do that work. So thank you for your work in many years past and many years to come. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Donna Yarbrough. I was the director of the Center for Women from 2003 to 2008. And I'm going to start with something that is sad. When I shortly after I got into the position in the fall of 2003, we actually had a student at Tufts commit suicide. Alex was only a sophomore, and we won't ever know why he killed himself, but the LGBT student community knew that he had recently come out as questioning. And so his death, really hit the community particularly hard. And I remember having a meeting with LGBT students to talk through it all. And of course, it was very emotional, and we talked a lot about what we could do to make sure that this would never happen again at Tufts. A freshman came up to me after the meeting to say, when you said that we should tell somebody if we ever had thoughts about killing ourselves, well, I have those thoughts. And I ended up working very closely with this student for the next 4 years, so most of my time at Tufts. He went on to become very involved in the LGBT community, to become a leader in the community. He went to counseling, the counseling center here. He graduated. He's alive and well right now. So I like to think that as a community, perhaps we did keep it from happening again, and that's one of my earliest memories of my time here. Some of the other highlights when I was here include Stacy and Tyler becoming the homecoming king and queen, the first queer homecoming king and queen in 2003. The Queer Students of Color and Allies group was formed. David Wu was the first facilitator for that, and I think it was really a turning point in involving students of color in the LGBT Center. In 2004, marriage became legal in the first state in the United States of America, and we were here to witness that. And we did a lot of programming that year that was related, including having wedding cakes where we celebrated all the faculty and staff who got married once marriage became legal. But I remember most going to the Cambridge courthouse at midnight. Cambridge Courthouse, is that what it was? Yeah. At midnight, and I was going with my friends, to witness the celebration, and ran into all of my students witnessing the celebration, and then a lot of Tufts faculty and staff were actually going in to get married, and then coming out of the courthouse and being surrounded by all of our students who were cheering them on. So that was pretty unforgettable. In 2005. We had two big milestones. One was that I started teaching the first Introduction to Queer Studies course offered in the Women's Studies department. Yeah. And many people in this room took that course. And then also in 2005, After many years of work, especially by Calvin Sanborn and Sam Stiegler, we added gender identity and expression to our non-discrimination policy, which was a huge step forward. And I could go into other things, but I actually wanted to share with you. So I'm friends with a lot of my former students on Facebook. And so I put a notice out on Facebook saying, for the LGBT Center's anniversary, I've been asked to give highlights during my time there, and I want to know what you think they would be. What would you say? So I'm just going to read some of the responses. Yeah, people are excited, I know. Stacy taking a bath in the center when it had that weird bathtub, which it still has. When Donna finally figured out what we did at the center after hours. Oh, wait. Coming out stories my junior year, 2008. Hearing Sophia Nelson's story helped this Christian girl begin to deconstruct my heterosexist values and started me on the path to becoming an ally and advocate for open and affirming churches. This is a former student who's now in seminary school. When Samuel Delaney came to campus and got grilled on how it's physically possible to sleep with that many people. Being hired as the token straight ally and then coming out to you 6 months later. Queer theory class and the vagina puppet, which is still in the center, I learned today. Estelle coming out at National Coming Out Day her freshman year as a queer, pansexual, radical slut. That really kind of blew my mind. All the missing L-word DVDs. And then the last one is Team Q retreat. And seeing Donna started off with a fierce, "This is a political statement." Pow. Thank you very much.
I'm short. That's fine. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. So, my name is Benjamin Serrano. I'm a senior, current senior at Tufts University. I'm from Chicago. Soy puertorriqueño, I'm Puerto Rican. And not to brag, but I'm young. Yeah, I'm young. However, since I was born in 1991, I beat the LGBT Center by 2 years. I'm 2 years older than that place. So today I'm feeling a little bit more grown, okay? I'll say it again, I'm feeling grown. I came to Tufts in the fall of 2009, all there, but in pieces, kind of. These pieces, acknowledged or not, needed to be put back together. I had no idea where to start to do that. Then as I sat in my single in Hill Hall, they assigned me a single randomly as a freshman. I was very, very excited. And that December, during my freshman year, I said, I think I'm gay. And I knew that since I was 13, but, I finally said it out loud. And, I was like, I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer all the time. And when I was 13, I saw Angel. And I'm like, oh my God, look at him save the day. Look at that leather jacket. Look at that hair. And I was, like, that's fine. But I didn't know that was gay until December of my freshman year because Tufts taught me that. So during winter break, I had typed a novel of an email to a man named Tom Borden. I found his name on this website for this place called it was Yellow House, called the LGBT Bowls House. I don't know. I just had no idea what this place was. I'm like, I'll email this guy. His name's on the website. So after an hour keeping my cursor above the send button, I finally sent what I thought was a blood contract into gay world. And now, to my disbelief, 4 years later almost, I am speaking at the 20th anniversary of the LGBT Center. And I'll tell you how I got there. So upon reflecting, that email to Tom was probably one of the best decisions I made in college. I can say that for sure. It was one of the best decisions. I began to grow. The next semester, I participated in the confidential coming out and questioning group that Tom facilitated at the time. And I was like, oh my God, there are others like me. Oh my God, like it's not just Will and Grace. Oh my God, it's like actual people. And my sophomore year, the very following semester, I was beginning to co-facilitate men's group. And I was like, what? And I was like, I hadn't even kissed a boy yet. No, not even yet. And I'm supposed to be the leader of the men. I was like, men, let's discuss about kissing boys. I haven't done it yet, though. And it was just confusing. I was like what? And no Lauryn Hill song. Come again, please, because it's I had no idea. I felt real young. But the center was there to support me as part of the community and as a leader. In the blink of an eye, I was part of Queer Peers, which is the student hotline for questioning and current LGBT students who are struggling and want help from other students, other peers. And I began interning at Equality Illinois, which is Illinois' largest LGBT advocacy firm back in Chicago. And I was working there with a tip from Tom. And after all this work for the community, I saw coordinated Team Q for. I did a lot. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Not to brag, really. I'm not trying to brag there. But after coordinating Team Q and after all this work, I was feeling a little less young. I felt like I was growing. I was being edified. That's a wonderful word, edified. I was being edified. I was finally becoming me. And that's the purpose. If I had to define the purpose of the LGBT Center today, if I had to define its main aspiration, is to help you become you, whoever that may be. And today, the conversation on becoming you is stronger than ever. For example, the conversation on intersectionality has been propelled thanks to the collective work from not only the LGBT Center, but from the Women's Center, from the Asian American Center, from the Latino Center, from the Africana Center, from the International Center. All of these centers have worked to talk about intersectionality and how we are not a melting pot. Because, I can't become you. I can't mix into you and become one thing. No, we're all individual, unique things. And each piece cannot be separated as an invaluable thing. Just so you know, you are invaluable. Other new projects from the LGBT Center include Team Q's new Safe Zone training. Team Q is the peer education group, you've heard about it. And we have a new Safe Zone training to make sure that all spaces on campus, from health services to TUPD, that they're trained on what it means to be LGBT at Tufts and what can they do to make their spaces safer for students at this school. And also, we have the Lavender Letter campaign, which was launched by Junior Mark Tyson. I think he's over there. And basically, we have been shown through wonderful photos that, not to brag, that I edited, I'm so bad, that we have allies of many ages, affiliations, and aspirations. There are so many allies on this campus, LGBT, straight, from any identity. There are many allies on this campus. And the past few years, the students have gotten the chance to attend the National Gay Lesbian Task Force's Creating Change Conference. This year was in Atlanta. I think about 10 students went, 8 to 10 students went. And they'll be coming back here, as they do every year, to talk about how they could create change at this school. And they have taken the education that they received from those workshops and are putting it into their own presentations to present to Tufts students. And recently, the discourse on gender identity and expression has developed exponentially, I would say, since my time here. And recently, the Center created a much more current and comprehensive list of gender-neutral bathrooms on campus, because facilities made one. And above all, I don't say above all, she was mentioned earlier, but I gotta say it again. We got the beautifully irreplaceable and beautiful Emily Mears for our staff assistant. I'm sorry, you gotta give her a hand, because she's walking with a limp today. She's here to help out. I'm sorry, it's just too much. She's just wonderful. So at this point in time, the LGBT Center has become a space not only to realize you, to realize yourself, but also to help our greater world realize itself, because that's our job. If we're going to do this work, we have to help not only ourselves realize who we are, but we have to help others along the way. As what's been said earlier, a bridge has been built so that we can continue to do the work. And we have to look back at those people who figured out how we can realize ourselves, and that's what we're doing today. So I cannot deny the LGBT Center's role in my life. And I see it's a great future. It is a great future. You can see how much it's meant for so many people and how it can mean so much for people in the future. And I just want to say again, I'm grown. I'm grown. And we're growing, and we're all growing together. And it's a beautiful thing. And this place is a beautiful place. And we are all beautiful, as in the song earlier. Look at that. Full circle. We're all beautiful. So thank you very much. And welcome.
So as the current director of the LGBT Center, there is absolutely no way I could ever go through everything that we do currently, but I did want to share a few personal stories and thoughts with you. And I can tell you it feels like it was just yesterday when I arrived as the new director back in October of 2008. I've been doing similar work for about 5 years at LGBT centers at UCLA and NYU, two great schools, but when I arrived here, I was really intimidated because I was going to be standing on the shoulders of so many giants. So much had already come before me. Donna and her predecessors had created such an amazing center. They, along with these highly intelligent and active students, faculty, and staff had worked so tirelessly for decades, as you've been hearing, to create inclusive policies and a visible and active queer community and a welcoming environment at large. So what was there left that I could possibly do? Well, I was quickly reminded when I began here that when you're working with LGBT issues, there is always plenty to do. I believe it was on my second day when I was notified by the fantastic staff assistant at the time, Jen Eliason, that the annual $1,000 dinner event had taken place a few days prior to my arrival. So this is an event where students come up with ideas for programs, and then they get to vote on which one they like the best, and the center will fund that program with $1,000 to make it happen. Oh yes, and Jen also told me that the idea that won that year was lube wrestling. That's right, if you thought you heard me wrong, it was lube wrestling. The program was going to be called Lube for Logo because students were upset that they didn't have logo television on their cable in their rooms. We did eventually find out they did have logo television on their cable in their rooms, but no one wanted to watch logo, is what I was told. That's why they didn't realize that they actually already had it. Well, I can tell you the rest of that story later, but that was the first thing that I had to figure out how to do when I got there, and we actually pulled off an amazing educational safe sex event just weeks later, which still involved lube. It was really fun. The next week after I began, I showed up at the annual National Coming Out Day rally, which after having now attended 5 of these, I can say is definitely one of my favorite events of each year. And one nice thing about it for me is that this is actually an event that I have to do very little for because our incredible student group, Queer Straight Alliance, basically organizes the entire event each year. So I remember showing up to my first one, and I was so excited for this event to begin. And then suddenly, right before it began, the student who was supposed to MC the event turned to me, handed me his list of speakers, and said, "I'm too nervous to do this. Can you go up there?" Gulp. I was like, oh, okay, I will wing it. So I went up to the podium, and rather going through the details of the rally, which was a great and memorable rally, I would instead like to share with you an email I got from a concerned student the following day. It read, "Hi Tom, I wanted to reflect briefly with you about my observations at the Coming Out Day rally. Namely that the first 5 speakers were white males. Now, I realize that a queer woman of color who had to cancel last minute was supposed to speak, but really it doesn't matter, because what everyone at the rally saw was one white dude after another white dude walking up to the podium and speaking for 5 minutes. I find this really problematic in what it is saying about our community and who is represented. I think it's your professional responsibility to be deliberately inclusive in programming as well as in lining up public speakers. I'm also unsure how I feel about you representing yourself as a spokesperson of the LGBT community by being the first person to speak and then interjecting between speakers. I know that you're eager to become a recognizable face, but I hope that you share with me the importance of making this community primarily recognized as a community of students. I hope that you will agree with me on the issues I have brought up today." I've got to say, while I was internally cringing myself during the event, as I was basically unexpectedly standing at the podium and noticing the exact same thing, I was actually cringing more as I read the student's email. This email immediately reminded me that while I may be the person who directs the center, I am only a small part of the Tufts LGBT community as a whole. In addition, there was clearly still so much that needed to be done at Tufts, and that still needs to be done today, in terms of working to make sure that everyone on campus feels as though they're equally valued, equally recognized, and have equal ownership and access to the spaces that we occupy. This email also reminded me that I was another one of those white men on campus, a group of individuals who have had a great deal of privilege, and that I would have to make a conscious effort to take a step back. Sometimes it can be very hard or downright impossible, or feel downright impossible, to make sure that everyone is included, considered, and feels that they are a valued member of Tufts University, of the Tufts student body, of the Tufts LGBT community, and of the Tufts LGBT Center. So today, the LGBT Center works with so many individuals on campus and tries to offer as much as we can, with it being education through Team Q, peer support through our numerous student-facilitated discussion groups and queer peers, and collaborating with just about every department on campus. I see my role as to help in advocating and supporting and counseling and educating and in continuing to build a strong and visible queer and allied community. The 4 letters listed in our name will never come anywhere close to capturing the endless identities as far as who we call ourselves, who we are, and who we are intended to serve. But hopefully, regardless of what we call ourselves, or what building we're housed in, or what person holds the title of director, we will always be so much more than the sum of those things combined. We are so much more than that. As Ross Cooperman sang in the song that backed up the video that nobody watched, but we'll replay it later, the lyrics say, "We are the one, all of us. We're the part and we're the sum. Feel it now, feel the rush, and believe in the power of us. We are the one." What the LGBT Center is to me is an energy or a light. When Charles Tufts granted this land that he owned to become a university, this university, he said that he wanted it to be a light on the hill. And I think that is actually the perfect metaphor for what I consider the Tufts LGBTQQIA ... everyone, for our community to be today. So thank you so much, and it is now my honor to ask our 13th president of Tufts University, Anthony Monaco, to say a few words.
Thank you, Tom. Tonight I really want to congratulate and thank the many people who have had such a commitment to making Tufts a welcoming place for members of the LGBT community. You should be very proud of what you have accomplished, and Tufts is grateful for your work, and so am I. I especially want to thank the many people who have helped make the LGBT Center so successful. The Center and its programs have made a huge difference to the lives of our students for 2 decades. Thanks to all of you for your dedication and hard work. And it has been essential for our community. Tufts is frequently recognized as an especially welcoming campus for LGBT students. And surveys show high levels of satisfaction amongst our LGBT undergraduates and graduate students. But of course, we must continue to move forward. The national debate on marriage equality shows that social and legal acceptance remains a challenge. And we know that even here on our campus, students do not always experience the level of support and acceptance that we would like to see. As many as you know, last year I established a university-wide council on diversity. I chair the council with Joanne Berger-Sweeney, the Dean of Arts and Sciences, as the co-chair. The members include an extraordinary group of students, staff, faculty, and administrators. Our goal for the Council has been to develop a comprehensive set of recommendations that will strengthen the climate for access, diversity, and inclusion for everyone at Tufts. From the start, the Council has paid careful attention to the experiences and needs of the LGBT members of the Tufts community. In the next few days, the Council's working group on the undergraduate student experience will be releasing its preliminary recommendations for community comment. I hope all of you will take the time to review those recommendations carefully and offer your comments in the forums that we will be organizing. I hope you will also do the same when we release additional preliminary recommendations later this year aimed at strengthening diversity and inclusion amongst our graduate and professional students and our faculty and staff. I do believe that working together we can make Tufts an even more inclusive and supportive community for LGBT individuals, for their allies, and for others who have not always been welcome or comfortable in institutions of higher education. I am grateful for the many people who have been committed to the LGBT Center for the last 20 years, who provide us such a great role models and examples. In my first year, I was asked to fly the rainbow flag during that 1 week. I'll never forget, at the end of that week, my assistant came in and said, "Okay, it's time to take the flag down." And I said, no, I don't think that would really be a good idea because it should be up all the time. So that I know that many students walk by Ballou Hall on the way to classes, but more importantly, I know that all the tour guides take the students by Ballou Hall. And I want to make sure that any student who's thinking of coming to Tufts knows that in the president's office and the provost's office, we support the rainbow flag and all it stands for the LGBT students at Tufts. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alejandro Brathwaite. I'm a junior here. I study civil engineering. I'm very, very grateful to be here with you all tonight and also to be considered a member of the Tufts LGBT community. I worked at the center for 3 semesters. What I'm going to do for you tonight, I'm going to take you on a little bit of the evolution that Tufts has provided me, starting with before when I was just trying to come out and I didn't feel accepted by my straight friends, and I also didn't feel accepted by any other community at the time. So here we go, letter from a high school jail cell. I'm at the end of my page, but never my reign. They're the same to sell, but with so much more to gain. The monster of fame is emulated so clearly, as if to their hearts their concepts they hold dearly. Hear me while you're diving in the shallow, shooting those who classify as straight and not narrow, claiming our perception isn't his eye on the sparrow. To your hearts I bring plagues as God to the Pharaoh, and prowess shown, never deeds proclaimed. I don't put a higher being stamp as a religion to be named, and then enslave a people to conform to my shame, blaming your infantile proles for not being or not playing my game. Look past the color, past the defrayed figure, past the tar marks of a generation disfigured, to see something is constricting my heart so tight that I'm falling so easily to the demonized sleight of hand, creating fire to burn my land, my pillars, my sanctuary, holding different kinds of man. Fracturing my dam to flood my yearning and drowning my followers believing freedom isn't discerning. But freedom burns for all and not just the select few. It's not love thy neighbor if, it's love all, and that's true. Believe we can exist and this idea ordain, or the work of centuries will be in vain. And then I came to Tufts. And I saw other people like me in the discussion groups and at the center while just hanging out there doing my civil engineering problem sets, which still take me about 30 hours a week, by the way. And I discovered that I can be myself and I can do everything while also being a gay person. And I can do some more fun songs, so hit it.
That they might desert me.
Real music for real people. Here we go. Yes. Diamonds, elements, let's see what they're made of. Aquarius, aqueous, original elements, call it sediments, flames your fury, we can never forget. Evolve into mercury, silver, never ending. Knowledge, power, flow, and not pretending. Elements of a rap, profound thought song, a major voice, you ain't afraid to be wrong. Elements of a preacher, a changed mindset, influential hands and you are not irate. Elements of a student, a learning attitude, even when you are 50 and you are not rude. Elements of friends, caring, I'll be there. Hugs on a daily basis to getting the lay out of your hair. Elements of a person, being yourself. Originality, no gimmicks, no help. Elements of an artist, painting with words, rearranging the game and vitalizing the world. Diamonds, logically, are forever. They are controlled and have the strength like the weather. No one will ever tell you otherwise, so raise your head, your hands, and throw them to the skies. Diamonds, level 1. Now let's go to level 2. You are diamonds. Yes, because your diamonds are forever. So show me, don't tell me that your skills mark that of an MC. That your lyrics don't resemble envy, but still are forceful just like the century. This is my entry into the alternatives. When played right, it'll make you burn to live. It'll sweep the dust of the remnants away. They give you the meaning of my moral play. Don't state that I'm just another wannabe, cause I came here to expose the perjury, to further the girls from the remorse that's shown, or give them the power to try it on their own. So tell this, if you can prevail this, heaven has to hail this. We are gonna quell this anger. Danger, high voltage
Campus has been turned on, so for 20 more years, we will be 10 million strong. Diamonds, logically, are forever. They are control and have the strength like the weather. No one will ever tell you otherwise, so raise your head, your hands, and throw them to the skies. Diamonds, logically, are forever. They are the strength and have control like the weather. No one will ever tell you otherwise, so raise your head, your hands, and throw them to the skies. It's called diamonds. Happy 20th.
I could try. I'm Sonia Hafkash. I'm in the English department. I'm the director of the Women's Studies program. I'm really happy to be part of this 20th anniversary, and thank you to Tom for inviting me to talk to you. I'm going to be very brief. I'm really here mostly to tell you that after over a year of conversation among students and faculty and staff, the Women's Studies program will, as of July 1st, officially be called the Program in Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. And we're really looking forward to broadening and expanding our curricular offerings and our programming offerings in sexuality studies and queer studies. This has been a part of the program for many, many years, but what we feel the name does is explicitly acknowledge that as a really crucial piece of the education that everybody should be getting at Tufts. So we look forward to working with Tom at the LGBT Center, together with Steph at the Women's Center, to really develop this component of this new collective program. And we look forward to hearing from students and faculty and staff about your interests and priorities so we can really work together to make the academic piece of the really wonderful work that the centers do become a more vital part of everybody's experience at Tufts. Thank you.
I'm even shorter. Okay. But you can see me over the podium. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. And so I have an announcement to make as well. The one thing I want to say is that I was struck as I was listening to what a sense of history people talked about today. Oh, by the way, I'm the Senior Director of Health and Wellness here. And thank you. And so, you know, when Donna was talking about how gender identity and expression were added to the policy, and then people who come after, they just see that it's in the policy, and all that went to get to all the work that went to that, or to have Arlene Isaacs in here today. You know, there's one state that has marriage, and then there's 2, and then there's 8, and how much work it takes to get each of those is incalculable. And so anyway, what I'm here today to tell you is that there's been a very few number of colleges around the country that have health benefits for transgender students. And even the ones that do tend to have limits, like hormones only, or you can have surgery but only up to $25,000 and so forth. So we have a new health insurance coming in at the end of August, and we had a really, really competitive bid this year, and we added, as of this coming year, transgender benefits, including surgery.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin. I'm a freshman here. Just wanted to speak a little bit about what the institution of this new policy means to me and to the school. It's rare we find problems that have a clear solution. Today we have an exception. For many, changing their sex to match their gender is an obvious solution to a painful problem. For many, this is not just a want, it is a necessity. Gender sadness, gender dysphoria can be all-consuming. I've known people so crippled by their assigned gender that they cannot bring themselves to leave their home. Today, Tufts has taken a stand, saying that it will not sit by while people struggle to handle their gender dysphoria, and it will be there to help them. This policy reminds me why I chose Tufts. From the moment I saw a Tufts application, I knew something was special. Where every other college asked me if I was male or female, Tufts gave me 3 options: male, female, or other. It was right then that I knew Tufts was a place trying its best to be accepting of people who found gender identity more complicated than just how they were assigned at birth. And since getting here, I found this to be true time and again. Beyond all else, I'm impressed by how universally I've been accepted here, with no fuss about preferring female pronouns. Whether it be friends or classmates, professors or administrators, everyone has, without objection or comment, used my preferred name. And this attitude carries through to other parts of Tufts. Changing the name on my email was as simple as an email requesting the change, and within a few days, everything was sorted out. Unfortunately, it's not always this easy, being a Tufts student and a trans person. But this new policy is reminding me that Tufts is trying to fix this. It is worth noting how few health plans exist like the one Tufts is implementing. 37 other schools have health plans for students that include both hormones and gender-related surgery. But many of these are not as inclusive as they sound. Quite a few have a cap on how much can be spent on surgeries, usually between $25,000 and $50,000. With the cost of many gender-related surgeries exceeding this range, these health plans provide almost no real support for their students. While these plans may have good intentions behind them, they can sometimes seem to simply be good publicity, proof that the school is helping transgender students. But with a cap, these plans do little real good. Tufts, thankfully, has no cap in its new plan, allowing transgender students to truly get the surgery they need. I spend most of my time out of class working on issues of social justice and oppression, and sometimes it can be disheartening. So many issues seem to have no solution in sight. At times it can feel like our work is for nothing. But it's achievements like this that remind me why we fight so hard. Because sometimes we win one. And today we won one. Today we have shown that progress is possible, and we deserve to revel in our success. But be careful, because there's still so much more to do. Tufts has come a long way, but there's still a long way to go. But today I am reassured that Tufts is moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Kaplan, graduate of the class of 1996 from Tufts, and representing the Office of Alumni Relations and the Alumni Association. We'd like to express our congratulations to the LGBT community on this momentous occasion of the 20th anniversary of the Center. And I'd like to introduce a special guest, an alum who lived his life at Tufts without a center many years before the center was founded. His name is Ken Niblett. He's a graduate of 1969. He was born and raised in Winthrop, Mass., and graduated with a BA in sociology. Amongst his many accomplishments, he was a coordinator and manager of the AIDS Action Hotline for the state of Massachusetts at the AIDS Action Committee from 1986 to 1994. He's been active in the Tufts community in a number of ways, including his reunion committee, involvement with the Tufts Senior Connection, and as president and board member of the Theta Delta Chi fraternity. He's married to his husband, Rusty Miller, which happened in May of 2004, immediately following the implementation of the law to allow gay marriage in Massachusetts, and they've been together for 16 years. Ken is a wonderful man and a great example of all alumni, and I'd like to ask him to share a few words.
Jonathan, thank you. You always wonder who that is that somebody's introducing. If you haven't saved the best for last, at least you've saved the oldest for last. which I think I can safely say is my condition at the moment here. I'll save you the math. I'm 65 years old. I'm on Medicare. And I've made it that far, and I need you all to keep working so I can keep having my Medicare. But nonetheless, it's a really great honor to be here and to be asked to be here. And thank you, Jonathan and Tom, for that. I want to take you back to 1968, around about this time of year, a little earlier. Remember, this is pre-Stonewall, and it's pre-APA and APA, the Psychiatric and Psychological Associations, deciding that we were not sick. And on this campus, in the winter of '68, I was elected undergraduate president of Theta Delta Chi fraternity. You know it as 123, the address, but nonetheless, here we are. I was, of course, then knowing that something wasn't quite right about me, and it was a very strange time, as you heard Jonathan say. No center, no organization, no group in any room somewhere, and if you think I was ever going to go to a university counseling service that probably figured out I was had a mental disorder, that was not true. It wasn't going to happen. And I was also president of a fraternity that at the time was a jock house and had a lot of ROTC guys, and it wasn't going to happen there either. But it was also a time when this campus was in a lot of turmoil. The Vietnam War was in full swing, and the student sit-ins at Ballou Hall were going on. And protest, one, about the war and the issues about that, but also another significant thing, and that was that the university was not doing really anything to recruit students of color to this campus. That was a major civil rights issue for that time, and became a very integral part of the protest movement that was happening on the campus then. Interestingly, there were some in this movement, not all, and I want to make that point very clear, who also were very critical of the fraternities. And one of the reasons that was stated by many or some of these people was that we were being criticized as being factories for homosexuality. And you know what? Over the years, I've thought so many times, Jesus, if that had only been true, it would have saved me years of anguish. And then when I came out to my parents, I could have said, well, Theta Delta Chi did it to me. You know, not my fault, or yours either, for that matter. But anyway, why I'm bringing that up, and frankly, it does raise a laugh, but the fact is, in the early years of all of this stuff, we were not fully at the table, at least in all people's minds. Some people's, yes, but not all. And we still had to work hard to fight our way eventually to a place where our voices would be heard equally, along with the many other communities who were struggling for equal rights, and you know all of who those were. So that was my experience at that time. And it's incredible to be here, to be celebrating this 20 years of an actual place where people can go and sift through all this kind of stuff. Now, I left then, went on to graduate school, came back eventually, and did one of the things that Jonathan mentioned. And it was in the early 90s, and I was very unsure that I was ever going to be involved here again with anything, my fraternity or the school or whatever. And there was an emerging group at the time called Pride on the Hill. And there's some of these guys here tonight whom I haven't seen in maybe 20 years or close to it. Jamie and Peter and another, Jeff Javits, who isn't here, but who was a very principled, wonderful, great person who was working as an undergraduate to further this cause. And so seeing that said, wow, there's maybe something here I should really get back to and get involved with. This is really driving me nuts. So I did. And can I just take this off and put it in my hand? Like that? Yeah, great. Thank you. And I did that. Went to a number of the things that these guys were organizing. And lo and behold, I actually decided, well, I'll come back to my 25th reunion. If it had not been for seeing that some things were going on here, I don't think that would have happened for me. And further, what that generated was an involvement in a number of alumni events and things that began to emerge from there, and being on the committees, for instance, for my class reunions, and doing other things throughout the time since then to be more involved. And that's really the message, I think, of what this school is saying to us now. I remember a couple years ago, and Bruce Reitman is over here, I heard you speak at the coming out day 2 years ago, and I heard what I thought was the most incredible thing. He said, the only way this school can be the best it can be in all ways is that it embraces the LGBT community. And I had to shake myself and say, the Dean of Student Affairs just said that here to school. And I thought, this is remarkable. And what I'm here to appeal to you for, because there are so many ways as alumni we are needed. The school needs our time, it needs our talent, and whenever possible, our treasure. And so I want you to repeat after me, TuftsAlumni.org, TuftsAlumni.org, TuftsAlumni.org. That's what you look up when it's time for you to say, okay, what can I do here? There are all kinds of things going on in our alumni life that need us and want us. Pride on the Hill and various other interest groups and things that I do, like the Senior Connection, which is not for seniors that are graduating, it's for seniors like me. But anyway, there are things that are here for us because this is a home now, I think, for our community. It's a place we really are respected, are welcomed, are considered integral to the work of this great university, which I think we're all very fortunate to be a part of. And Jonathan, whom you just met, if you haven't already, is certainly one of these people you should be in touch with, because there are all kinds of events and chances for volunteer assistance that this school needs us for. So I want to thank you for this time. It's great to be with you and to be the senior citizen on the panel today.
All right. Well, the program was long, but I hope that you feel that it was worth it, especially for all of you who've been standing. Thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful to you all for being here tonight. There is still a lot more that's going on through the night. First and foremost, we have a chocolate fondue fountain, so I think that should be enough to keep you all here till midnight, but that's upstairs somewhere. We do have our raffle prizes, which we're going to do in just a second, so hopefully you all dropped your tickets. So we will give those out. If you noticed upstairs also, one of our alums wrote the book Wicked, which was made into the Broadway show, and that's a whole series, the Wicked series. It's 5 books. He signed all 5 books, and we're trying to raffle those off because we're hoping to begin to raise money for an LGBT emergency fund. It unfortunately still happens today that sometimes our students are rejected to the point that they're completely disowned, disconnected financially and otherwise from their parents. So we're trying to create a fund where we could give one-time assistance for students when that happens. So if you want to write down your name for that for that auction, it started at $100. An alum had offered for it. So if you want to up the ante, that's upstairs. Or if you want to just give in general, we have some envelopes up there. And then around 10 o'clock, we have incredible gender-bending performances for people from the outside who are coming. I assure you, you will enjoy them. But let's do the raffles, and then we'll see you again at 10. So can I have my raffle people up here, please?
sun comes up, the day is calling, but all around the sky is falling down. Still we keep shining, taking steps farther, faster, running towards ever after. Now we are rising, we keep rising now. Oh, we are the world, all of us. We're the part and we are the sun. Feel it now, feel the rush, and believe in the power of us. Whoa, whoa, we are the
To me, the LGBT Center at Tufts has been a place where students and faculty staff can come to educate themselves on issues when they know they want to learn more, that it's a great resource for people to come together to have important conversations about not just gender and sexuality, but social identities in general.
I love that the Latino Center and the LGBT Center are together in the Bulls House. It has allowed for me to embrace my heritage while at the same time support the LGBT community.
The fact that it's here now for people who are coming on this campus has to be a tremendous asset to being a welcoming and a place they can call home.
I can work alongside other LGBTQ or ally individuals and feel like I'm in a safe space.
It's been the most reliable constant in my 4 years here, and when I look back on how much I've grown in college, most of my strongest memories either take place in the center or I process them there.
It makes it clear that it isn't just that you are, it's that you are okay with being who you are. And we've come a long way, and I'm really proud of the students who really sort of spearheaded it. And I credit the student group first and foremost. I credit the administration at that point, which was very responsive. It's really good to have a chance for us as the employees to get together. And I think what Tufts probably has to continue to look at is with young people in their late teens, early 20s, which is what we got here, to talk seriously about what it means to be, well, to think of us in the same way that heterosexuals have always thought of themselves, namely they have these rights and they can get married and they can go through their life not afraid of being who they are.